welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing how I am in the process of transferring my rental property in Norfolk, Virginia to an LLC. Let's get into it. I've been wanting to do this for a while. However, I finally got, encouraged to go ahead and get the process started in one of my networking events that I've been going to. I am part of a real estate investing networking group. And during one of the meetings, they brought up, it's not a if, it's a when something is going to happen. If somebody's going to sue you or something bad happens. And with rental properties, you have to worry about the liability, insurance, all that. You have to have your I's dotted, your T's crossed. That's something that I've been wanting to do, is have an LLC and have my properties in LLC, because I do know the benefits of the liability protection. That networking event really just kicked me into gear. So I was like, all right, I need to do this now, because you're right. It's a matter of when it's going to happen, not if it's going to happen. Let me just get it out the way. I started to do my research. I got on the phone. So I called Norfolk Circuit Court. Granted, I just did a quick Google search. How do I transfer a property? They said that you have to do this through the Norfolk Circuit Court. So I called the Norfolk Circuit Court to see what I needed to do. And it was actually way more simple than I thought it was going to be. All they said was I just needed to essentially get a new deed in the LLC's name and record it with the county. And it'll cost $32 to record it. I was like, what? Okay, is that easy? So I can do that. And then I called my bank, who holds my mortgage, which is Wells Fargo, called them to make sure that this process wouldn't affect my mortgage. Because sometimes if you transfer a mortgage or do anything like that, the mortgage balance will become due immediately. So I definitely didn't want that to happen. I wanted to keep my mortgage the same. So I called Wells Fargo to see the process on their end to transfer the mortgage to the LLC's name as well. I talked to their mortgage specialist. They asked me some questions about the LLC, if it was set up yet, and just giving me information on what documents I needed to provide to them. So that process was pretty straightforward as well. At the end of the day, the only things I'm really concerned about is getting a deed and transferring that deed to my LLC and making sure my mortgage transfers to that LLC too. There's really not much else to worry about as far as the transfer goes, because with a single member LLC, which is what this will be, so I'm the owner, sole proprietor of the LLC. Essentially, the LLC is me and I'm the LLC, at least for tax purposes, but from a liability purpose, we're two separate entities. The mortgage people were asking me, is it a single member LLC? Is it a multi-member? And things of that nature. I think the reason why it was so straightforward also is because it was a single member LLC. So let's go through the first part. Step 1 is what I just described essentially. Gather all the information that you can from your locality, your lender, a lawyer, and just compile the information and the research that you've done and start from there. And once you get that, then you can move forward and actually start doing stuff. So you're going to call your lender. You're going to see what the appropriate steps are with them to get your mortgage transferred to LLC. You're going to call your local county circuit court, whatever court is in charge of recording deeds, to see the process and how to transfer a deed. You're going to call a lawyer to get any legal assistance, especially when you're setting up your LLC. You can set up your LLC on your own, though. You don't need a lawyer to actually create the LLC. There are a lot of companies out there that will charge you to create an LLC for you, and you don't need to do that. If anything, you can set up the LLC yourself. It's $127 in North Carolina to set up an LLC. I'm not sure about other states, but you can literally go online, do it real quick, and then they'll search to make sure that LLC name is available, and they'll probably get back to you in less than a week. It took 2 to 3 business days for me to get my LLC approved for North Carolina. All right, so let me go through the documents that I need for Wells Fargo. These are the documents they told me to have for them to approve the LLC transfer. So first, they want the Articles of Organization. That's the document that is filed with North Carolina. That's pretty much the document that says, here's your LLC. It is formed in the state of North Carolina, is legit. That is what you're paying $127 for. 2, they want an EIN, which is an employer identification number, an FEIN, a federal employer identification number. This you get for free. If anybody's charging you to get EIN, don't do it. You can do this completely for free through the IRS website, and I will include the link below for where you can go to set that up. Once you have your LLC set up, then you can get an EIN. Wells Fargo requested an Articles of Organization, an EIN, an operating agreement. And so an operating agreement, it's not necessary to set up your LLC, but it is an important document that you're going to need, because if you're trying to do any kind of business, most lenders, banks, people who just want to do business with you, they're going to want to see your operating agreement. And that's pretty much just a document saying, hey, this is how my LLC is going to be ran. It's going to talk about who's in charge of what, how you're going to file your taxes, what your business purpose is. And it's really important for legal liability reasons based on the research that I've done. For example, if you do get sued and you don't have an operating agreement and you're a single member LLC, the court can say, hey, you pierced the corporate veil. You and the LLC are one and the same. You have no liability protection. So that operating agreement is very important. And then they also need a draft of the new deed. So there's 4 documents Wells Fargo requested from me. So that was, let's go through this again. So that was my Articles of Organization, that's my LLC formation document, my EIN confirmation, which will come straight for the IRS for free, my operating agreement. I will show you guys in a second where you can get that. You can get that for free online. And then a draft of my new deed that is in the LLC name, right? The operating agreement and the draft of the new deed, I did my research and I discovered a website called Legal Templates. And you can get a free 7-day trial on Legal Templates. I will include the link in my description box below too. And you can fill in your information. It will give you a draft operating agreement and deed. It's legit. You can do your research to make sure that this is up to par with your respective states. Don't just go with it. Like, do your research, read the statutes if you are doing this yourself to make sure that you are doing everything correctly. So it is a legitimate legal document and it doesn't get thrown out in case anything does happen in the future and you're not found legally responsible, because we're talking about the law here. We want to make sure we're doing everything right. And when I did my research for the Norfolk Circuit Court, it said I myself or a lawyer could draft the deed. So I myself am drafting the deed for me. The kind of deed that I'm doing is a quit claim deed. Do your research, please. After the research that I've done, that is the appropriate deed for me. I'm not going to go into too much detail what a quit claim deed is. You can do your research yourself. We will be here all day. Anyway, Legal Template. And I'll ask you different questions about your property address, operating agreement. I'll ask you what your business purpose is and all that stuff. And you just fill that out. Now you have your LLC, you have your draft deed, you have your EIN, your operating agreement. And I'll give that to Wells Fargo. I have the person's email address. I'm just going to email it to them. And then they said it'll take 5 days for that to get approved. I was like, okay, this is very quick. I haven't done that yet. I'm at the process. I have everything drafted. Except for the operating agreement, I want to go through that and fine tune it a little bit more. And then I'm going to send it to Wells Fargo and it should be good there. And the deed, I just need to take that to Norfolk Circuit Court to get it recorded. And then that's it. It's really just going to be that simple. When I talked to the guy at Wells Fargo, he was like, yeah, just do this and it'll be approved. I was like, what? It's really that straightforward, that simple? LegalZoom, for example, or other places, they charge like a certain amount, especially if you're setting up an LLC. Like, all right, you need EIN. Like, we'll charge you a set price to set up your LLC, get you an EIN, draft you an operating agreement. Like, it's a good way to make a business if anybody wants to save people time. There is some value in it, but if you want to save some money, you can do it on your own. Make sure you're following the statutes correctly. I know I said I wasn't going to go into detail what a quit claim deed is, but the reason why I chose it is because from my research, it says that it will release all liability and ownership from me me, Brittany, the personal entity that I am, to the LLC. I don't guarantee anything, which is what a warranty deed is, and I think there's one other deed as well. So I won't guarantee anything. So I'm completely relinquishing all responsibility from myself, my personal entity, to my LLC, which is exactly what I want. Logically, to me, that makes sense. So that's why I chose a quitclaim deed. For the new deed, that does need to be notarized. And by the way, you can get notary services from your bank for free. It's a service that they offer for free. I bank with Wells Fargo. I go to Wells Fargo all the time to get things notarized for free. So like I said, I am doing this without a lawyer. However, I would recommend you to read up on the law, read up on the statutes, on your instructions, make phone calls, make sure you are doing this right if you are DIYing it like myself. If not, if this sounds like too much for you, I would get legal advice. I know I asked one of the speakers at my real estate investing group, essentially, if anybody had advice, and he was like, I can't give you any advice, go to a lawyer. It sounds like you're on the right track, though. I was like, okay, that's all I need. He specifically advised me to get a lawyer because my LLC is going to be in North Carolina and my property is in Virginia. So it would be an out-of-state foreign LLC technically. So that could present some additional issues. So I have been thinking about getting advice on that particular part just to make sure I'm doing everything right before I finally go through with everything. But that's where I'm at. I'm probably like 3/4 of the way there. I just haven't sent anything off to be finalized because I just want to make sure that I'm doing all this right. But I'm really excited about it. I have my LLC name, it's official, and I'm really proud of my name. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. I appreciate you guys for voting on my poll and saying that this is what you wanted to see first. So this is what you got first. Let me know if I can't give any advice. This is just my story, what I'm doing. But if you have like certain questions, I can try and help and point you in the right direction per se. But this is something that you're going to have to do on your own if you are thinking about doing it on your own. I'm just saying that you can do it on your own. And I only say that you can do it on your own is because I'm doing it on my own. But maybe you can't. I don't know. Don't just go with what I say, okay? Because I don't know everything. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let your girl know if this was helpful for you, if you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, bye.